What's up, you guys, man? This is Pod When I Want to Pod podcast. We are back with another edition. This is exclusively on YouTube, man. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to the channel, turn that bell so you get notified every time that I drop a vid. Hey, you guys, NFL is heating up. We are in the thick of the playoff race right now, man. Teams teams are getting exposed. Teams are getting elevated. Teams are getting figured out. The playoff picture is going to figure out itself. As you go down and you look at the schedule, there's teams that still have to play each other to get this thing worked out. So I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to see the real. Be able to separate it from the fake. And so I'm looking at this right now. I'm looking at the playoff picture. Let's go to the AFC side first. Baltimore's one. Baltimore bye week is coming up this week, so that could change coming up this week, depending on what happens with Kansas City, Jacksonville, and Miami. So that could change right there. Then you got Kansas City 2, Jacksonville 3, Miami 4, Pittsburgh 5, Cleveland 6, Colts 7, with Houston, Denver, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Raiders, Chargers, Titans, all of them are still in the mix. They're all still in the mix for a playoff spot. Even the Jets are still in the mix. I think that last playoff spot, because of who's occupying it right now, I think that you can get in with 9, 10 wins. I think 10 wins guarantees that you get in. 9 is going to be close to cutting it for a lot of these teams. So if the goal of any of these teams is to get in, about 10 wins will get you in. The problem with the teams with 7 losses is you got 7 losses. You can't afford to lose another game. So you got to win out. I don't think any of these teams are going to win out and be able to get in. 9 maybe will get you knocking on the door where you can lose one. But, nah, man. I think it's going to be 10 and you're in, to be honest with you. And I'm just looking at these teams in the AFC. The AFC this year looks really, I'm not going to say watered down, but it don't look dangerous. It's not a dangerous path at all. It's not a dangerous path for any team. I mean, I can see several of these wild card teams could possibly upset the top seeds, man, because of who the top seeds are and who's in the wild card. Like, if I'm Baltimore, I don't care about playing any other team outside of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and Baltimore in a playoff game is just something different. We all know this. We've seen the history between these two teams playing in the playoffs. Baltimore is like, nah, if we can avoid the Steelers at all costs, I think they would prefer that path. Not saying they would be scared to go against the Steelers. I'm just saying you'd rather not have to play against a division rival and a team with a pedigree like the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. So I think they're going to do everything in their power to try to avoid that. Cleveland, they're hanging on by a thread. Their quarterback just got hurt. We don't know. Colts, they're in a great position, man. That thing going to get ironed out. And then Houston and the Broncos play this week, so that's going to get ironed out. A lot of stuff's going to be ironed out, man. And you may look through the dust, and it may be Buffalo Bills popping back up in the picture. But they got a tough schedule. I looked at their schedule. I'm like, man, they got a schedule coming up for them right now. I mean, if you go look at their last couple games, they at Kansas City. They just lost to the Eagles. They're at Kansas City. Then you got Dallas. Then you at the Chargers. And then they got the Patriots. And then they finish the year off with the Dolphins. That's going to be tough. Because they have to get to 10 wins. So they can't afford to. They're going to have to literally go 5-1 down the stretch. They gotta go 4-1. Down the stretch. Yeah, they gotta have it. Yeah, because they're 6-6 right now. They can afford one more loss, and that's it. Cause I think 10 wins will get you in. Now the question is, because Can they win at Kansas City? That's gonna be a question. And then Buffalo and the Cowboys are gonna be an interesting game because the Cowboys, as we know, gonna be fighting for playoff positioning as well. With the Eagles and everything like that. Um, so they got a tough schedule coming up, and I'm just going down the schedule, looking at all these teams' schedules. I mean, to be honest, the person that's in the most advantageous situation is Pittsburgh, man, to stack up wins because they have the second easiest schedule in the AFC, and the team with the easiest schedule in the AFC is the Chiefs. Their schedule's really easy down the stretch. Let's look at Houston. So Houston got the Broncos. That's gonna be a tough game. Then they're at the Jets. The Jets' defense is going to be really tough. But I think they could win that. Then they're at the Titans. Should win that. Then they got the Browns. Then they got the Titans again at home. And then at Colts. Now that at Colts game could determine who gets in the playoffs. Because how it's looking right now, it's like, So they got a shot at it too. They definitely got a shot at it. And then if you're looking at the Colts schedule, you're going down their schedule. I'm just looking at all the teams that's in contention right now. You go down the Colts schedule, they're at the Titans next. A winnable game. But it's a divisional game as well, nonetheless. Then they're at the Bengals without Joe Burrow. They should win that. And then they got the Steelers. Tough game at home. Then they're at the Falcons, Raiders, Texans. They got an alright schedule though down the stretch. It's not brutal. It's not brutal like Buffalo. Definitely not brutal like Buffalo. Yeah, man. I'm just looking at the AFC. AFC looks real jam packed right now for that last spot right there. Then you got the Raiders, man. They got a bye week coming up here, so their bye week's coming up, and then they got Vikings home, Chargers home, at Chiefs, at Colts, then home Broncos. I don't know. It's going to be tough for them to get in, man, with them 7 losses. Because now I don't think they can afford to lose another game. Let's see here. Then let's flip over to the NFC side. Looks pretty standard. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, Jalen Hurts for MVP. That's another thing. Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP. People can say what they want to say. He's putting his team on his back and he's doing what he has to do. Regardless. Jalen Hurts is the reason why they're winning. He's the reason. If they didn't have Jalen Hurts, I don't think they're winning in these situations. You got to have a guy who's a force multiplier in those situations that when the defense is playing awful, give up 500 yards. When you can't seem to get anything going on offense in the first half. When you only got 33 yards passing in the first half. You overcome all of that to come back in and beat the Buffalo Bills, who have been going up and down the field on you guys all game. You come back against Buffalo, you put it on your back, and you go win it in OT. That's an MVP, man. He's been doing it, man. I've just been watching him play. Jalen Hurts has been showing that's what I am. Then you got San Francisco at the second spot, 8-3. You got Detroit. Now Detroit. Detroit, to me, is an interesting team because they really got the weapons that you need. They got everything you need except for their defense has been playing awful these last couple weeks, man. I've been watching like, yeah, this is not the same defense. This is not the same defense. So I need them to get back on track, man. They got to get back on track. Their first round matchup probably going to be a tough one, man. So they got to get back on track. Get that defense together. That's the most important thing. Get that defense together. And then you're gonna have San Fran and Philly battling out this week, which is gonna be a crazy game. Stay tuned for that. For sure, stay tuned for that because that's gonna determine a lot of things as far as seeding goes in the NFC. Then we got the Falcons at 4. I have no clue how the Atlanta Falcons are winning their division, but they are, nonetheless. Wow. And then you got Dallas at the 5th seed. And Dallas looks good. They look good. They're 5-0 at home, but they're 3-3 on the road. Issue, because you're gonna have to go on the road to win. You have to go on the road, man. You're not gonna win that. I don't think Philly is gonna. I don't think. Yeah, Philly's not gonna let that division lead go. I think Philly's gonna go ahead and win that division, and especially like if they win against San Fran, I mean, you looking up, you like they may be locking up home field advantage pretty soon here, man, for real, in a playoff spot. To be honest, and then let's see here. Then you got Seattle at 6. You know, Seattle is, they're on a 2-game losing streak, and they got Dallas on Thursday night. So they got some tough games coming up here too. So we're gonna see how they go down the stretch, how it looks down the stretch for them. And then the Vikings with a disappointing loss last night. Really bad loss That's a bad loss last night. Because that's the Chicago Bears. You have to put them away. And you can't let them hang around. And you can't turn the ball over 4 times. As the quarterback. You just can't. I blame a couple of those on the receivers. Then I blame some of those on him. The first one he threw, though, was a bad one for him. The one in when it was a cover 2 look. And Johnson from the Bears, Jalen Johnson, picked it off in that cover 2 look. He disguised it. He faked them out. He made it look like a regular cover 2. I'm going to stay in the flat. Then he dropped back in coverage. And he got it. He baited him into that one, And the turnovers really determined the game. They did. Because that defense played amazing. Vikings defense and Chicago defense both played amazing last night. So it was a defensive battle, and it came down to who was going to take care of the ball the best and who had the ball last. And Justin Fields delivered the goods last night, man. When it seemed all bad, when he kept fumbling the ball, when they was up, they fumbled the ball when they needed to go score. And then, once he got his last opportunity, cashed in on it. That's all you can ask a young player to do. Cash in on your opportunities. Now, as far as him and them go, they got a decision to make at the end of this year. And I'm going to get into that in the coming weeks about what I think they really officially should do. And, because you got to let the regular season play out and see where's the records at, where's the records at, and where's the draft order. That's what I'm trying to say. The draft order, because that's going to be very important as well. So we're going to have to see all those things. Then, you look at teams like Green Bay. Green Bay hanging around. They're hanging around in the playoff hunt. You got the Rams hanging around in the playoff hunt. You got the Saints hanging around. Tampa Bay. Even the Giants and the Bears and the Command. Like, all those teams are still within 2 games of the 8th seed, of the 7th seed. It's within 2 games. All of those teams I just named. So, do I think all of them is in contention? No. But I do think that a team like the Rams could get in the wild card spot, because the Rams now they look like they're starting to go again. They're starting to pick up. That's what it's looking like. And then you got the Saints. I can't believe in the Saints. I mean, I picked them as my sleeper team to start the year. I did. Now, the problem with the Saints now is that I don't trust their quarterback play. Derek Carr has been a letdown, a disappointment, to say the least. He's everything that they didn't need, to be honest with you. They really could have put their foot on Atlanta's neck in that game, and not just that, for the division as well, because Tampa Bay is in free fall right now. They were a good story early. Story over with now. But even them, they're still within a game of the division. So it's like the division is wide open. It's the only team that ain't gonna be there is gonna be the Panthers in that division. The weird part about them is they could get hot, mess around, and it's not gonna happen though. I feel bad for Bryce Young. I feel bad for um, what he had to step into, because it's bad there. It is really bad in Carolina. They got to figure this thing out for him and get him some help for sure. Get him some help. Um, so yeah, that is the recap show for today. Hey, you guys, Thursday, you already know we back with the picks, the player props, and everything that goes on Thursdays, man. I appreciate all y'all love and all y'all support, man. And, man, until next time.